little bit of single player, a little bit of multiplayer, and a whole lot of lovin'. This is Inside Gaming for November 17th, 2009. Hi there and welcome to another irregular episode of Inside Gaming. Sorry for the early airing, we got a couple of new games coming out and we just couldn't wait to talk about them. So, check them out. First up on the release radar this week is Assassin's Creed 2. For those who have already forgotten about it, this is from the guys at Ubisoft Montreal, who have made some of the most memorable games in recent, memory. One of those games was the in-betweener Assassin's Creed from 2007. People didn't know whether to love or hate it. On one hand, you had a pretty-looking game with a fairly interesting plot, yet on the other, you had nothing short of repetition in the mission structure, which left a lot of people, like me, a little let down. For the past year, we've heard nothing but promises that the new game would fix all of those issues, so does it? Yeah, pretty much. One of the first things you'll notice in this addition to the series is that things are a bit more, what am I looking for here? Graphic. I don't want to give away too much, but at a specific moment that kind of stood out for me was when you were taught the control mechanics several minutes after your mother kicked you out of her womb. I'm not kidding, you literally learn how to use the Y button while covered in afterbirth. It's really an accomplishment, and shooting innocent people at the airport has nothing on this shit. Seriously. There's even another part where your mom says vagina to your face while you're sitting around waiting for Leonardo da Vinci. It's really as crazy as it sounds, but that's a whole nother story in itself, so let's just talk about the rest of the game.
I meant besides vaginas.
Yeah, this version of Assassin's Creed feels a bit more like a superhero prequel rather than whatever the hell the first one did. You once again play Desmond in the present and are flashed back to your ancestors' past via DNA memory or some other fancy BS. Either way, it's an interesting plot device for Ubisoft to theoretically make infinite sequels. Good for them. This time in Memory Land, you take control of Ezio, an Italian man-boy during the Renaissance. What's actually cool or lame here is that you don't actually get to use a weapon for like an hour or two. It's not until later that you don the outfit we've all come to love, though with a little bit of Italian flair. From here you get to kill people or just brutally murder them in the face. Variety is the Italian spice of life. The fight mechanics can be a little iffy at times, but come on, you're a lover, not a fighter.
Vaginas.
Well, maybe not a lover, but you do kill a shitload of dudes, so hopefully you guys get a better idea with the lock-on scheme than I did. What's pretty cool this time around is that you can actually upgrade your weapons and buy new ones. Having Mr. Da Vinci around is a nice touch since he's kind of like a scientist. Like Batman.
Where is he?
Speaking of weapons, there's actually a lot more in the selection process, so things like combat don't just require you to parry and then knife some fucker in the neck 1,000 times. Mission variety has been kicked up as promised, and it really does improve the game as a whole. If you manned up and trudged through the original single player and still enjoyed yourself, you'll have an even better go this time around. If you had some issues before, you'll at least feel more like you have options, which does really flesh out the world a bit more, and that's a nice touch. Graphically, the game is a bit all over the place. The artistic style really makes you feel like you're in 16th century Italy. And there's plenty of detail in the surrounding city. But there are some texture pop-ins and everyone suffers from Polar Express syndrome, meaning they all have zombie eyes. Very, very tan zombie eyes. It's hard to knock a game for such few flaws when at the end of the day, it's really just a lot of fun to play. So yes, to all you little haters out there, I enjoyed Assassin's Creed 2. I still say the first one was repetitious as hell, and Jade Raymond is a hottie. And no, I don't know why she doesn't return my phone calls.
Hey, it's me again, the Pixel. I haven't really heard from you since PAX. I was hoping maybe you and I can get some lunch sometime, shall we? Terrible. Okay, I don't know what kind of game you're trying to play here or whatever. If you could at least just call me, we could talk about it maybe. I don't know, whatever. Alright, later. You know, bitch, fine. I don't need you. I got plenty of chicks on the side. Whatever. Have a great fucking life, you cunt. Hey, sorry about that last message. That was kind of rude. I don't know. I just beat the game. We can talk about that. Pie. Cake. I'll try later.
Wow, sorry about that. Hey, speaking of people who worked on the game, here's some of those guys.
I'm Corey May, and I'm the lead scriptwriter for Assassin's Creed 2.
My name is Yves Simino. I'm the director of Assassin's Creed Lineage.
I'm Yanis Mala, and I'm the CEO of Ubisoft Montreal and Toronto Studio.
For the rest of those interviews, be sure to click out and give them a look. But now it's time to move over to the zombie side of things. On top of the solid single-player experience that is Assassin's Creed 2 this week, we are also getting our little hands on a little title called Left 4 Dead 2. Let's take a look. Left 4 Dead 2 is already here. I only say that because we only just played the first one about a year ago. There's no shortage of controversy in this title, what with all the boycotts and tomfoolery, but at the end of the day, what we really want is the answer to the question: is the game worth checking out? The answer? Kinda? Overall, the game looks a lot like last year's edition. Yeah, it's got a new layer of polish, but keep in mind, this is the source engine. It's more about the horsepower and less about the shiny new look. The sheer amount of AI on screen is still something that has to be experienced. It's really nerve-wracking, to say the least. The new enemy types create a bit of a challenge, like the jockey, who jumps on your back and controls you and pushes you into an awaiting horde of zombies. There's the spitter that creates an acid trap, so you have to move around that, and the charger. He's easy to take down, but he poses a threat in the long run. It's pretty interesting. Besides the obvious new location, the biggest addition to the game is the melee weapons. No longer restricted to just a propane tank, you can now use a handheld like it's no one's business. From katanas to guitars, almost anything blunt-like can be used to beat the undead to, death, as long as you handle it with a firm whack. Now, a lot like last year's game, it's not really your typical run and gun. It's actually really big on co-op, hence the title. You have to rely on your friends to survive, and yes, I said friends, because the AI is pretty fucking stupid, and they should never ever be relied on. Don't care. Overall, everything feels kind of new. We have new guns, modes, online options, melee weapons, characters, and enemies, but at the end of the day, it all kind of feels like a skin or like a few updates. Like the number 2 really shouldn't have been put into the title. Maybe there's a lot going on behind the scenes, hardware-wise, but I'm not seeing it. If you love the original Left 4 Dead, you're gonna have fun here. Is it $60 worth of fun? That's up to you. I had a good time, but I love shooting zombies in the head, like, a lot. Like, I really, really love shooting zombies. It's a condition, or something, whatever. Well, that about does it for our in-depth preview for the heavy hitters of the week. Sorry we didn't get the new Super Mario Bros. On the Wii. Maybe next time, if you even care. Any of you. It's like 4 guys out there with a Wii who complain every week. Alright everyone, that is our show for today. We'll see you again next week. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. It's what lame celebrities do, so we do it as well. We'll see you again soon. Later. Inside Gaming, blah blah blah, brought to you by Crack.